Hey everybody, thank you so much for stopping in. So, if you don't already know, this channel is all about mental health, bringing awareness, and also anything relating to the brain and your emotions. And today we have one of my favorite types of sessions, which is about different coping mechanisms. So, thanks for stopping in. The theme of these groups of coping mechanisms is around control, because a lot of times our emotions seem out of control, and with mental illness or any type of emotional disorder, it just feels like we're lacking control. And the best way to gain your confidence back is to get control over whatever small things you can, you know, get power over. So this session is about controlling your body. So you got to think, all right, so what do you mean by control your body? Like, obviously, I'm controlling and I'm making, this happen. But what does control your body actually mean? So these group of coping mechanisms are all about doing things that promote better physical and mental well-being that involve physical action. So one of the first ones is control what you eat. So that is controlling what goes into your body. And a large part of our emotions is actually related to how our body is physically doing. And if our body is full of junk and nonsense, then our emotions are going to feel negative, down, and they're going to be out of control. There's a study out there that pretty much says most of the people in first world countries are malnourished. Now, what does that even mean? I thought malnourished meant that, you didn't get enough to eat, or, you only ate or drank, once a day or once every couple days. And that actually is a part of it, but it's also not true. What I'm referring to is being malnourished means you're not meeting the dietary requirements for your body to function as well as your body can. So that means hitting your vitamins, your minerals, and your macronutrients. Just for example, people with low calcium intake happen to have brittle bones. Many of you guys may know that. Or people with low vitamin C intake, they end up getting sicker easily. So if you examine your diet, especially if you're intaking way too much sugar or way too much caffeine, that can be one of the triggers, or it can be an increased vulnerability for you and your emotions, especially if you experience high anxiety or depression, where your energy levels are on extreme levels of the spectrum. Sugar and caffeine both are stimulants. Now, with high anxiety, you're already high energy level, you're already agitated, and caffeine and sugar can make it worse because they're going to cause spikes in your heart rate, which are probably already going on. When you're feeling anxious, you're going to get a spike in your heart rate, you're getting a spike in your blood pressure, you're going to have the possible extra sweaty, the heart palpitations, the clammy skin, all of that stuff. That can be exacerbated by taking extra stimulants. And with depression, when you're already feeling low energy, your emotions are lower, you're gonna have the more extreme crashes and a dependency on these caffeines and stimulants and sugars to keep you going. And guess what? Excess amounts of sugar is no bueno. When we're depending on any outside source for a specific feeling or specific emotion or energy, then that dependency is going to be afflicting the emotional disorder that we are already experiencing. So I know that you love your morning coffee. I know that you love your sugar, your candy, your cakes, your chocolate, of course. Chocolate's a fantastic coping mechanism. In small quantities, maybe. But if you're noticing that your sugar intake is way too much, try and chop one of those down at least for a day or two and see how you feel. Especially with caffeine, it may be hard to just get up and not take caffeine, but just try and wean yourself off or lower the amount that you're taking in. If you're doing 3 and 4 cups of coffee a day, just try 1 or 2. And then the week after, try 1. And then the week after that, try decaf or whatever. Now, talking about other healthy things, I know many people do not like vegetables, or they do not like fruit, or they don't like drinking a glass of milk, which apparently people are saying is bad for you. But in small quantities, it's not bad. No one's drinking a gallon of milk a day, so it's not going to increase your estrogen levels too high. The point is, replacing some of those bad habits with healthy alternatives that you don't mind, that's a great compromise, because it's going to be hard to just be 100% healthy. Like, no one's really 100% healthy, and those people, I don't get how they do it. I know I can't. I know I would say I'm about 70% healthy on most days, and some days I'm at like 50 or 40, but it's about being more on the spectrum of healthy than unhealthy. So it may just start by adding 1 extra vegetable a day, or 1 extra fruit a day, or just reducing the amount of coffee or sugar you're taking just by a little bit, and just slowly start replacing the negative eating habits with some positive ones. One of the next coping mechanisms that people always talk about is, why don't you breathe? Breathe and it'll be okay. Breathe. What does that even mean? I'm breathing all the time. If I wasn't breathing, I'd be dead, right? No, right? Exactly. So this breathing thing needs to be explained a little bit better. So there are 2 methods of breathing that at least I'm aware of that work pretty well. 1 is box breathing, and 2 is diaphragm breathing. So box breathing is when you pick a amount of time, so whether that be 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or 5 seconds. Much more is a little too much, much less is not that helpful. And then what you do is you breathe, so let's pick 3. So you breathe in for 3 seconds, you hold it for 3 seconds, you exhale for 3 seconds, and then you hold that for 3 seconds. So pretty much, it's a box. This really helps your heart rate decrease. And also, if you just focus in on the counting and the breaths, there's also a form of mindfulness. And if you know anything about mindfulness, it's just about being aware of your thoughts and being aware of your body. And it's kind of a way to take a step back. Now, the other one, pretty much breathing through your diaphragm, is where you're gonna set your hand on your chest, where your lungs are, and then one hand below where your stomach is. And what you do is you make sure your shoulders, neck, and head are relaxed. So, and then, so what should happen is top hand should never rise. So you're gonna be focusing on breathing down here and letting this bottom hand rise outward. So then when you're breathing, it's just nice and slow through the nose. And then when you're breathing out through the mouth, your lips are kind of like pursed, like you're gonna kiss somebody in an awkward way, or you're gonna blow a spitball at them, and you go. Now, you maybe feel more comfortable doing it by yourself. Lying down is always the best because your whole body is relaxed. But if you need to just go off to the side and do it elsewhere, where you're not in front of somebody, do it. And if you're around people, you don't really have to do this. Just be mindful that your chest is not going up and moving out. It's just your lower stomach and mid stomach is what's expanding, and it's gentle. It's not. Okay. So give either one of those a shot, and controlling your breathing helps release good neurotransmitters and good chemicals into your brain. So the feel-good chemical that is released is serotonin, and I don't know if you've heard about that, but it is actually the endorphin for happiness, or feeling good or calming yourself down. So try either one of those breathing techniques. They're fantastic, and keep practicing them. So even when you feel great, give it a shot. Even try them like 5 times a day for a minute, 2 minutes at a time, and you're gonna notice a difference in your consistent mood. So the next thing is, of course, exercise. Exercise obviously makes you feel better. We may not like it, but if you exercise for a period of time, so whether you're weightlifting, running, or doing fit or CrossFit or whatever, it actually helps release oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, which are all responsible for changing your mood and having antidepressant factors. So pick something: walk, run, jog, skip, jump, pull up, push up, do a couple of crunches, but work out for 10 to 15 minutes, and that's gonna help release those feel-good chemicals. And when those chemicals happen, it is reducing the negative emotions that you have. And of course, it's a great outlet. And it's always nice, especially if you have anxiety, to get out some extra energy. So to get out that anxious energy, you go do something productive like run or lift weights. Personally, I've never liked working out, and I would find myself in the gym for 2 to 3 hours a day just because the emotional benefit that came with after my workout and during the middle of my workout. So the other benefit to working out is the long-term results. So seeing that, oh, I did this semi-consistently and I lost 5 pounds, or I gained a muscle over there that I didn't know I had. And that helps boost confidence, and confidence also helps boost your endorphins. So when you feel better about yourself, it helps you deal with your mental illness. So hopefully you give 1 or 2 or all of these coping mechanisms a shot. Personally, I use all of them. They all work for me, and I give them a shot on a daily basis. So sometimes I obviously eat more sugar than normal. I've taken out all the caffeine from my diet, but my sugar fluctuates. And I know when I'm feeling crappy, I don't overindulge on sugar. I have some, and I have some of my favorite stuff, but I just use it sparingly. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, or if you or your loved one needs one of our resources, make sure that you check out the link below, relentlessnature.com/get-help. We have a bunch of free resources that you can use, ranging from getting help with your bills to finding a therapist, different healthcare providers, or even receiving workplace assistance. Then make sure you hit the link, and if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, and if you have any recommendations on next videos, or if you're interested in being in one of the videos and having a conversation, then please shoot me a comment, shoot me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. And if that's that, then you have yourself a wonderful day. And please try one of the coping mechanisms.